Alright, let's go, Bourbon Quest. It's your host, Bourbon Steve, for another edition here on Bourbon Quest. So, what I have for you today, well, we got some Calumet Farm special releases. So, what we're going to be highlighting is the latest from Calumet Farms, and that is this 16-year-old. Let you take a look at the bottle there. And then we'll go ahead and go up against the last 2 years. This is the Calumet Farms 14-year, which has already been opened, along with the Calumet last year, the 15-year. And so we're going to be pouring these. Of course, a fresh cork popping on the latest, the 16. And I have to go back and look at the videos. I think when I've done these before, I preferred the 14 over the 15-year. So we'll see with the 16. But anyways, I'll go ahead and just go through them all three a little bit. Calumet Farm, this is the 14-year-old single rack black Kentucky straight bourbon, 96.2 proof. The batch size is 19 barrels. This was bottled in March of 2006, or barreled in March of 2006. And then you got, I think it's all the same on here. No, I think it's a little different. Alright, so on this one it's got William Monroe Wright established Calumet Farm in 1924 on a small farm in Lexington, Kentucky. After Wright's death in 1933, his son Warren began to move the farm's business toward thoroughbred racing. After developing the farm's stock and pedigree for a short time, the Wrights hired famed horse trainer Ben A. Jones. Through dedication, passion, and hard work, the farm began an unparalleled ascent, eventually topping the horse racing world. This rise to glory would cement Calumet Farm as one of the most dominant names in horse racing history. Over the decades that came, the farm produced 2 Triple Crown winners, 8 Kentucky Derby winners, and 8 Preakness winners. Calumet Farm is proud to have 11 horses in the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame. It is with the same passion and dedication that we craft this bourbon. Distilled and aged in northern Kentucky, this is straight bourbon whiskey, comes from a private reserve of premium Kentucky bourbon stock. This specific bourbon's unique high rye mash bill was hand selected, offering a bold yet balanced expression. Man, it's one of the things. They source their stuff. It's not very transparent. I think it's a little overhyped, a little overpriced for what it is, but we'll see. It's been a while since I've had at least these last 3 annual expressions. But let's move on to the 15-year. So this one is 15-year-old. It's got, trainer Ben A. Jones, jockey Eddie Arcaro. Again, single rack black Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 19 barrels in this batch. This is coming in at 105 proof, and then they list the Triple Crown winner Whirl Away. So on the back here you got, in 1941, Whirl Away was ready to shock the world with his amazing speed. Whirl Away had a tendency to bolt towards the outside rail. Trainer Ben Jones spent many sessions trying to break this habit with no luck. The more he tried to tame the wild Whirl Away, the more ornery and bold he became. As a last resort, the day before the Kentucky Derby, Ben Jones cuts one of Whirl Away's blinkers away. It works. Whirl Away, ridden by Eddie Arcaro, not only gives Calumet Farm its first Kentucky Derby victory, but he does it with an 8-length victory in a record time of 2:01. Damn, that's fast. Whirl Away subsequently gives Calumet its first Triple Crown after dominating the Preakness and the Belmont races as well. He later added a win at the Travers Stakes to complete the Grand Slam of thoroughbred racing. To date, he is still the only horse in history to ever accomplish this feat. Wow. Whirl Away also captures the honor title of 1941 Horse of the Year. Well, of course, To honor the legacy of Calumet Farm and its first Triple Crown winning horse, this exquisite bourbon has been crafted with the same passion and dedication that led Worldway to victory. Alright. Well, let's go to this one. This is the fresh crack. So this is going to be Calumet Farm. Again, trainer Ben A. Jones. Jockey, again, Eddie Acaro. 16 years old, single rack black, Kentucky straight bourbon. Again, 19 barrels. This comes in at 106 proof. I think this was what, 105? Yeah. And this is a Triple Crown winner, Citation. So let's read about Citation. It's more about the horses than the bourbon, but whatever. After a stunning 2-year-old season in 1947, famed trainer Ben Jones knew that their horse was set to have a breakout 3-year-old season. In 1948, Citation furthered his campaign towards becoming a legend. He began the season with a handful of wins. Then Eddie Arcara was tapped to jockey Citation. The first race pairing the two was a disappointing loss at the Chesapeake Trail Stakes. This would be the last race that Citation would lose for nearly 2 years. Citation would go on to capture the 1948 Triple Crown and be named Horse of the Year. By the end of his 3-year-old season, he had totaled a record of 27 victories and 2 second-place finishes out of 29 starts. Citation would go on winning and be the first major North American horse to amass a 16-race streak and top $1 million in career earnings, which in 1948, I mean, $1 million, that's a shit ton of money. To honor the legacy of Calumet Farm and its second Triple Crown winner horse, this exquisite bourbon has been crafted with the same passion and dedication that led Citation to victory. Again, more about the horses and the bourbon, it appears, but let's see. All right, so yeah, this is a fresh cork pop. So America, Citation. So we'll pour that in the glass here, and then as always, we get our infinity pourer for a new bottle. Yeah, we'll pour that into the overflow globe decanter. Come on, George, get it. He's supposed to come over at least one day, maybe 2 days this week, and help drink some of this down. All right, we got our infinity pour out of the way. All right, so let's pour the 14 and 15. All right, so we'll start off with the 14 year. I mean, it comes off a little smoky. We'll definitely get the caramel, vanilla, butterscotch. Ethanol comes through pretty well on that. I mean, that's the lower proof one too, I believe. But you still get that ethanol on it. It's yeah, this one is just 96.2 proof. And there's a little bit of chestnut, hickory, smoke, maybe a touch of maple. The nose is pretty good on this. I mean, it's fairly complex on the nose, offers a lot of different varying flavors there. All right, let's go in for the taste. Cheers, Bourbon Quest. That's actually pretty good. I mean, it's caramel, vanilla, hickory, maple, chestnut, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of oak. I mean, I kind of dig that. Excuse me 1 second while I grab some water. Forgot to have my water. You gotta stay hydrated, my friends. I'll be right there. Give me like 5 seconds. Alright. Sorry about that. Because remember, it's important that you stay hydrated, my friends. Alright. That's actually pretty good. I mean, the nose is pretty complex. The palate's not as complex. And these, well, I know, well, I'll get to it in a minute, but I know I paid this, the one that we're highlighting, the 16-year-old, I paid $150 for that. And I want to say these were right around $130, $140, so don't know that they're worth that. I mean, based upon the age, but not necessarily on the flavor. The noses on this is pretty complex and enjoyable. I won't say it's killer or anything, but yeah, I'll get a little bit more rye this time and some mint along with that hickory maple. I mean, I do think it's good. All right, let's move on to the 15. Get a little bit of cherry, oak, vanilla, caramel. Definitely get some cherry fruit. Maybe a little bit of blackberry. Alright. I think the nose is better on the 14, but yeah, definitely get cherry, blackberry, vanilla, caramel. Again, I think it's good. I think I still prefer the 14 over the 15. A little bit, there's a little bit more obviously heat on this one, with it being 105 proof versus the 96.2, I believe it was. Get a little bit more of that rye and mint now. Again, vanilla, caramel. I still think I prefer the 14 over the 15. Alright, let's cleanse the palate and go into the latest, the 16-year-old, which will be a first tasting of it. Alright. Sweeter on the nose than both the other two. It's like more cherry and orange. And this is 106 proof. I get that heat a little bit on it. But yeah. Cherry, orange, vanilla, caramel. Really get that cherry and orange on that. Cheers, Bourbon Quest. Very, I mean, you definitely get that ethanol, you get that rye, mint, cherry, orange, and then it really kind of fades away. The finish, I think that's the worst finish out of all those. Then it's like got some blackberry and black pepper on the back. It's one of those things, like, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's worth $150. I mean, even with the 16, I mean, you're paying for the age, but if the age doesn't bring something, a little bit of oakiness on that, I think it's my least favorite. Granted, the others have been open for a while, and this is a fresh crack, so maybe a little air does it a little bit of good. I'm gonna, let's taste it and then I'll give you my opinion. Yeah, more of that oakiness, cherry, blackberry, black pepper, and baking spices. I'm gonna say that's a pass. I mean, at that price, no. I mean, I I would think it needs to be under $100. I think it needs to be $90. I think its value would be there at $90. It's not there at 150. I would say pass on this. And you can still find these two. I mean, these both are, the 14 and 15 are still on the shelves in my market, which kind of odd and weird with it. As far as I know, kind of a different annual release that, especially like maybe I could see the 15 years still being around, but that's 2 years ago and it's still there. And to be honest with you, I think, yeah, I would rank them the 14. So that just goes to show you, age is not everything. Because I would rank these, the 14 year would be the best out of these, and then the 15, and then the 16. So I'm going to say this is a hard pass. Well, not that it's bad. It's just, it's $90. It shouldn't be $150. So, you know, go get a Bardstown Discovery for $130. Better than this, and they're producing their own juice. This is sourced. So, yeah, I mean, that's a hard evaluation. I don't think these are bad. I think they're actually pretty good. I just think that they're way overpriced for what they are. Yeah, not 150. Let's try this one again. This is the 15. Let's cleanse the palate first. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the brand with them sourcing the camera about the horse racing. They do the bourbon, which I get. I mean, there's a strong correlation between, obviously, with Kentucky. I mean, it's probably their two things they're known for, which I think number one is still bourbon, and then number two is horse racing. So I get what they're trying to accomplish and do there, and I respect that. I just think it's way overpriced for what it is, and the story, unlike Yellowstone, which is, I eliminated that brand. I won't eliminate this one yet. I think that it's still good stuff. I'd be like to see what direction they're going with here. I mean, are they going to do a 17 year next year? Because I don't know. They've gotten worse in my opinion with the longer they've been aged. So, which has been typically my experience. I usually feel like 8 to 12 years is the sweet spot. Now, obviously, all of these are above that. Obviously, yeah, there's exceptions to that. Your Pappy Van Winkles and what have you. But by and large, I usually think 15 years is the max on bourbon, with a few exceptions. I mean, your Pappy Van Winkle 20 or Pappy 23. But outside of that, I mean, you can overage this stuff. And I think that, you know, again, like when I did the Calumet Farm video a few days ago, which I want to do on blind, but when I did on just off the cuff, the small batch, the 8, the 10, the 12, on my initial experience with those, my preference was the 12 year. And I think, I didn't try it against these, but I think the 12 year is better than these three. All right, so let me know what your thoughts are on this Bourbon Quest. If you've had experience with these, if you like them, you hate them, or if you disagree with how I've ranked them. But I rank them that the 14 years the best out of this, then the 15, and then the 16. But I think these two are definitely a pass based upon what they offer and the price that they're at. Now, the 14-year, which, like I said, I know at least in my market, they're still on the shelf. I would say it's a try before you buy. I think it's good. I really enjoy it. I don't know if it's worth the 130 or 140 bucks that I paid for it. Let me try it again. The nose is really good on this, though. I could see, I would say, it's a try before you buy, and I think it should be 120 bucks, which I don't remember exactly what I paid for it. It was probably 140 if I had to guess, 130, 140, which is not terrible. Like, I would classify it as 120. So I wouldn't mind paying 140 for it if I really liked it. I would say it's a try before you buy. That one, not that I'm going to, because, you know, I got a lot of other things going on or whatever, but that's definitely the best out of this lineup. And, you know, but that's the only one that I would potentially buy again, which I actually won't, because I'm always on the quest for other things there, and it's not that great. But I like I said, I think it should be 120. I mean, I'd pay 140 for it. I probably wouldn't pay any more than that for it. But it's the best of these three for sure. Hey, let me know in your comments what you think, what your experience has been with these Calumet Farm releases. If you'll continue to buy again next year, which, like I said, I think they've gotten worse. So, I mean, I probably will, just because of the channel and want to bring content to you. But unless I tell you, or another Whiskey Tube channel tells you to get one of these, I think they're a pass. Other than this one's really good, but it's the value prospect. And like I said, none of these are bad. It's just, I mean, obviously, if it was $20, I'd be like, buy this all freaking day, because this is a great value. You got a 14, 15-year-old whiskey, but, you know, when you get up there around 150 bucks, I think if you're wanting to spend that kind of money on a bottle, there's better values and more bang for your buck than this. So that's my opinion. But hey, thank you again for subscribing. If you haven't done so, go ahead. It doesn't cost anything. Just click that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500. We're on our way. Leave your comments. Smash that like button. Now, and don't forget, ring that bell for notifications. That way you don't miss a single video, because we put out a ton of content here on Bourbon Quest. But yeah, out of these three, the 14, in my opinion, is far superior. Alright, I think that's going to wrap it up. Let me know, smash that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And before we close, as always, I just want to say that my wish for you is that all your Bourbon Quest dreams come true. Ha ha! That's a wrap, yo.